Say g'day to the Smart #3 Brabus small SUV. Yes, #3. It's half Mercedes, half Geely and all electric and ludicrously quick. But has the relaunched Chinese Germanic brand made a hash out of this vehicle? Let's find out. The quirky microcars of the original smart car maker that launched here in 2003 are gone, replaced by bigger, more sophisticated and, I have to say it, smarter vehicles. Smart is one of several Chinese challenger brands to enter Australian and European new car markets in the last 12 months, and unlike many of its rivals from China, it already has a hint of brand recognition. A trio of Smart #3 models are offered, including two lower grade single motor rear wheel drive models. This one is the twin motor all wheel drive mini monster. And yes, those Brabus badges are justified. Its main competitor is the MG4 X-Power, but you could probably lump in its cousin, the Volvo EX30, which rides on the same platform architecture and is offered with an equally muscular powertrain. Pricing is fairly competitive given the premium cabin fit-out and those headline performance figures. Although rewind 10 years and it boggles the mind what $70,000 used to buy. And let me touch quickly on that naming convention, Smart #3. Yes, that's the official way you say it. To me, it feels a little bit overwrought. I get that they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, but imagine explaining the car to someone. Oh, Ken, you bought a new car, what'd you get? Oh, #3. Yeah, but what car did you get? Anyway, it's a little disingenuous, but hey, I'm happy to be proved wrong. Maybe this vehicle will one day outsell the Toyota Corolla and become the world's best selling vehicle, proving that naming convention was a stroke of genius. But I doubt it. Service costs are pretty exy for a small SUV, priced at $3,120 over 4 years or 80,000 kilometres. Single motor versions are cheaper to service though. The styling is neither attractive nor repulsive and kind of looks like the love child of a Mercedes GLC and a BYD Atto. The Brabus bits add some extra visual punch though, starting with this new front cowling. It's a bit more aggressive, and this lower grille with the red on black detailing. Very cool. There's a smattering of Brabus badges and contrasting black and crimson trim, with the roof rails, rear roof spoiler and pop-out door handles all finished in vermilion splendour. This top-spec version has dual e-motors that deliver significant performance punch. We're talking more than 300 kilowatts and more than 500 newton meters of torque. If these numbers mean nothing to you, then put it this way. It'll even outpace the previous generation twin turbocharged V8 Mercedes AMG C in the traffic light tango. It's painfully fast. Smart reckons the 66 kilowatt hour lithium ion NCM or nickel cobalt manganese battery has enough juice to see the pocket rocket travel just over 400 kilometers on a full charge. The Smart has vehicle to load or V2L functionality as well, but you might need to update the operating system in the vehicle to enable it. But you can do that via over-the-air updates, which is pretty cool. But even then, you'll still need to buy the cable separately. I can confirm hooking up to a 150 kilowatt ultra-fast DC charger results in a charge time of 30 minutes from 10 to 80%, meeting its official claim, which is good to see. Okay, first impressions. This is pretty swish. It's pretty sporty. There's a lot of red stuff. Red seat belts, red stitching on the steering wheel, the doors, the dashboard, the seats. I really like the microfiber sports seats. You've got drilled alloy pedals, flat bottom steering wheel, Brabus badges everywhere. Pretty cool. But fit and finish is mixed, with some really nice soft touch materials contrasting with trendy looking but cheap feeling plastics. Apparently these plastics are sprayed with a metal paint to give premium optics, and it does look kind of cool. I love some of the smaller touches. The damped motion here is quite lovely, but it does feel a little bit flimsy, a bit insubstantial, and my kids would probably snap this off in an instant. However, I do like what they've done with the overall design. I think it blends German and Chinese styling to great effect. The way this center tunnel sort of spreads out like wings to the rest of the dashboard. It's cool. It's almost like a Marvel superhero. It's like this section is going to transform into some sort of cyborg snake and start attacking my enemies. I do like it. And compared to a lot of other Chinese cars, this one's got more character. And I like the fact that all the curviness matches the exterior design as well. The major touch points are pleasing, starting with the microfiber sports seats. Sure, the cushioning is quite firm and the small rivets are sometimes felt, but the bolstering is supportive and the 6-way power adjustment plus 4-way lumbar for both front seats makes finding a comfortable seating position very easy. The steering wheel feels great, also with a microfiber finish, plus it has thoughtfully laid out controls. And the way the air vents and Beats audio speakers are integrated into the car make it feel ultra modern. Storage solutions, well, they're quite pleasing. You've got 1, 2, 3 concealable areas, starting with this one, which is the wireless phone charger. That slot's there. You've got 2 USB-C ports, very nice. There's another little slot here for your phone, or your passenger's phone if you want it. There's 2 small spring-loaded cup holders. It actually does fit the medium-sized drink bottle. Actually, only one of them does, but that's not too bad. Plus, this last central bin is actually quite large and refrigerated, so you can keep your drinks cool. Speaking of drinks, the door pockets are massive and swallow plenty of beverages. Not only have I got my medium-sized drink bottle in there, the Mega Gulp fits in as well. And the reason they're so big is because there's no speaker boxes in the doors. Most of the speakers are mounted much higher in the car, such as up here. Plus, there's another storage area under here for odds and sods, and there's a 12-volt socket as well. Smart by name, smart by design. This car has one of the most vibrant infotainment setups I've seen since the latest Mini range with their cool circular screen. This one is a 12.8-inch rectangular high-def screen. The visuals are fantastic, and it's clearly aimed at a younger demographic with a video gamey sort of vibe. You've got different avatars like a fox or a cheetah, and the graphics are very sort of bouncy and lively and youthful, and I quite like that. I like the fact it's a little bit joyous, whereas there are others in the car sales team who do not like it. In fact, they hate it with a passion. Each to their own. You've got a number of shortcut override buttons or hotkeys at the bottom of the screen. They are permanent and they're really good. So you can adjust the driving mode at any time, plus the climate control. One button there and you can fiddle with the fan speed without having to drill through a whole bunch of menus. I really like that. There's also an AQS, or air quality system, that not only allows you to see what the air quality is like inside the car, but also outside the car. There's even a deodorization feature in case someone cuts the cheese. However, some functions that are really easy to adjust, like the door mirrors and the child locks, you have to actually drill through a couple of menus to access, which can be a little annoying at first, but you do get used to it. The Smart comes with pretty much every techno doodad you could want, including GPS sat-nav, along with wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I really like the 10-inch digital driver's display as well, not only because of its pleasing color tones, but because it's slim and sleek. You don't need a giant IMAX screen in front of you. This has got all the data you need. It's got road speed, it's got battery charge, it's got the time and the temperature. Plus, there's a really, really good head-up display with loads of functionality as well. The parking camera system is very impressive with reasonably sharp visuals and big overhead and reverse camera views that fill up most of the screen. There's also several camera angles and a 3D mode for good measure, all of which are easy to access. The Smart 3 has a 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating and comes with all the safety gear expected by customers today, including 7 airbags, adaptive cruise control, and auto steering for highway driving. Unlike the Smart 1, this thing doesn't have a sunblind on its admittedly gorgeous, large panoramic glass roof. It is amazing, but because it doesn't have a sunblind and because these seats are fairly low slung, I've actually got reasonable headroom for what is a pretty small SUV, and legroom too. Very, very impressive. I sit pretty close to the steering wheel, but this is still good. I can't get my feet right under the seats, but overall, I'd be happy spending plenty of time back here. While the seats don't slide forward and back like in the Smart 1, the recline seating position is quite delightful. And check this out, super fancy frameless door windows, very classy. Amenity is very good. You've got plenty of storage, door pockets a little bit down here, plus USB A and C ports, twin air vents, pull-out armrest, very comfortable with cup holders. And I like the fact you've got all these speakers mounted up high. It gives you really good audio quality with the thumping tunes, and family buyers will love the fact you've got twin ISOFIX and triple top tether child seat anchorages as well. And check this out, when you close the doors and lock the car, it makes a cool noise and puts all the windows up. Really nice little features. I quite like the key fob too, it's a bit different, little round thing. Check it out, you do get a frunk, a small compartment to put stuff in, but it's tiny. You'd be lucky to get a 6-pack of ginger beer in there. I don't think you're gonna fit a charging cable. Smart has put the tyre repair kit in there. So yes, there's no spare tyre either. And the boot, this is cool, the tailgate release button is the A in the Smart badge. And I don't know about you, but little features like this tend to stick in my mind, and they add personality to the vehicle. Now, the boot itself is not massive. You'd be lucky to fit 2 large suitcases in here, but amenity is very good. There's plenty of underfloor storage here. You've got a first aid kit, charge cables and whatnot. Plus there's a couple of little netted side cubbies there. You've got a 12-volt socket and some useful shopping bag hooks as well. The cargo cover is quite versatile with 2 locking positions and is removable for those times when you need more space via the 60/40 split folding rear seats. I really like how Smart has styled the interior of this vehicle, but let's remember, this is also a Brabus, so how quick is it? This 4-wheeled missile will shock and awe your passengers, make no mistake. Okay, so we're doing 60 and full throttle, far out. Roll on acceleration is just incredible. Of course, driving it around the suburbs, you probably won't be needing to use its full force. And in eco mode, it muzzles throttle response to save energy, and it's a real pussycat. Ride comfort is also surprisingly compliant for a vehicle rolling on 20-inch alloy wheels, which comes as a pleasant surprise given its performance intent. Refinement levels are also pretty good. It's a very quiet car for the most part, with not a lot of wind noise, and tyre roar was only noticeable at highway speeds and on coarse chip road surfaces. Speaking of which, it's a good highway cruiser, stable and solid at 100 kilometers an hour, although the lane keep system can be a little intrusive. Although that said, you can rest one finger on the steering wheel and it'll basically drive itself on the freeway. It's pretty cool. Chuck on adaptive cruise control and you're golden. We put around 900 kilometers on this SUV, and our testing showed an open road real world range of 350 kilometers, although the 415 kilometer claim by Smart is more realistic if you're confined to metro driving. It's a pleasant vehicle to drive in most scenarios, but it can get a little annoying with all the beeping and bleeping from the safety systems. Like if I look at this GoPro camera for too long, the driver attention system will say, "Hey, look straight ahead, beep, 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 beep." That's annoying. If I tempt lane markings, beep, 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 gets upset with that too. The worst one though is the speed detection system, because at the moment it thinks I'm in a 15 kilometer an hour zone. I'm actually in a 50k zone. So it just beeps and bleeps and gets very, very frustrating. Thankfully, you can turn the systems off, but unless you assign them all to a profile, every time you get in and out of the car, it resets them. That can be quite annoying. But now let's talk about fun factor and handling dynamics. Now, if your idea of fun is straight line shenanigans, you will not be disappointed. This is an absolute blast in that respect. However, if you find yourself on a twisty road or like going on longer drives and being engaged by a car, you'll find out this thing runs out of grip pretty quickly. The eco-focused Continental tyres simply don't offer enough purchase under load, and any car with ballistic acceleration should have more appropriate and sportier tyres, and the Brabus mode only exacerbates its traction shortcomings. If you've ever had a high-power front drive hot hatch, you'll know what I'm talking about. Look, it tips into corners really nicely, it's quite planted, but if you hit the go pedal too early on the corner exit, it tends to push wide and understeer, and it's not exactly confidence inspiring. The chassis is pretty good overall and keeps body roll in check, and if you dial it back from Brabus mode to sport, it does become a little friendlier. It is fast and it is very furious, but ultimately there's not a lot of driver engagement here, which is a bit of a shame considering it wears those famous German Brabus badges. Visibility and sight lines are acceptable, but it feels more like a hatch than a tall body SUV from the captain's chair. I also noticed a couple of irritations during night driving. The first are the LED mood lights. They're fantastic, I love them, but they do reflect quite brightly on the windows at night, so I ended up having to turn them off. Also, the indicators in the wing mirrors are very bright. They flash in your face at night and they're a little bit startling. But overall, the pros outweigh the cons here in terms of on-road behaviour. If you see the Brabus badges and think, yay, meaningful driver engagement, you'll be somewhat disappointed. However, if you're after a straight line scorcher to impress your mates, the Brabus badge Smart over-delivers. It's an eccentric but charming EV, and what's more, it can be very docile and is a great daily driver as such. With impressive attention to detail inside and out and a lovely splash of style from its Mercedes genetics, the Smart 3 has more personality than most EVs. And its cheek rippling performance is just hilarious. It is crazy fast. So, has Smart made a hash of this Brabus EV? No, I don't think it has. It's a delightfully charming vehicle and well worth taking for a test drive. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all our other videos on the channel. We've got hundreds of them, and see you next time.